Hi everyone, welcome to Dave's World. So as promised, I'm trying to do weekly updates on this V8 swap. What we're doing is putting in an LS engine. It's going to make 900 horsepower. What I'm doing today is, if I have time, I want to 3D scan the engine bay and 3D scan where I'm going to put in the rear. It's going to have independent rear. So what that means is the car is front wheel drive, but we're actually converting it to rear wheel drive. And I'm putting in an IRS. It's called independent rear suspension with a Ford 9.9 center section. Pretty strong, going to handle a lot of power, thick axles for the power we're going to be putting out, and it's exactly what I needed for the car. The car is going to basically be a race car, but I also want to start out as a street car so I can enjoy it for a little while before we compete with it. Today we're also going to continue converting the accessories to 8 rib, and if you've been following the channel since day one, you'll also notice that Cruze missile is not sitting over here. It's finally back on the road. I love this car. It's actually a pretty sweet looking car. I love the design of it. As far as a 4-cylinder goes, I think it looks even nicer than some of the Camaros GM came out with in the last 10 years or so, even though the Camaro's not around anymore, neither is this car. But let's pop the hood. I'll show you the new package. It looks pretty nice under here. This is a shot of it the other day in the sun. So this is a lollipop red metallic powder coat, and I tried to do everything under the hood. I'm working on some new prototypes for this side of the engine bay because I feel like the red stopping here kind of annoys me, so I'm coming out with new stuff. And then we're also going to be doing some covers for here to kind of clean up the engine bay, and then you can even do matching hood struts. You know, I offer these kits right here so we can match the hood struts to it and everything. This is the new OEM Plus setup. It makes good power, makes lots of boost. Here's some footage of the car driving. Comment below if you guys want me to post up like a full build series on that car, because I've been working on it for quite some time, and I finally got it to. Basically what happens is I started doing something with it, changed my mind, started doing another package, changed my mind. I was originally going to do the V8 swap on Cruze Missile, but it only had like 70,000 miles on it, and I really liked the car, and I just wanted to make sure that, you know, I still came out with 4-cylinder upgrades. So I decided to change the package on it and come out with some different turbochargers, and that's why I put it back together as a new turbocharger setup. I'm going to set you guys up in a minute so you can see what I'm doing, but I just wanted to show something. So in the back of the garage, there's a lot of stuff lying around, but I wanted to go over what all the stuff was. These are the parts for the V8 swap going into the Cruze. There's parts over here, and believe it or not, this Mustang is also a V8 swap. So I have parts for the Mustang lying around. I actually have about 8 different cylinder heads because I was trying to choose which cylinder head I wanted to go with, and I happen to have a lot of those cylinder heads lying around. I have a lot of swap parts. There's Porsche parts over there. There's some Corvette parts. Basically every car I'm working on is sitting over here, but what I'm going to try and do this summer is get everything in the vehicles so I can lessen how much stuff is just lying around, because I need to move forward on some of these big projects, this being the main one. So what I'm going to do is I'll set you guys up and we'll get rolling on getting the supercharger unit onto here, and then I'll figure out what I'm doing next.
The next thing I'm trying to do is I actually made this custom Moroso, it's a power steering reservoir tank. They make certain ones, they all pretty much have like a black cap, so I came up with one that's a mix of like a 60s car with the Corvette style tank, and I actually made the whole thing look chrome, which looked kind of cool. But it gets mounted with this specific Corvette bracket that mounts to the front of this new supercharger bracket. So what I was doing was trying to get it to fit. It didn't quite fit 100%, so I had to modify it a little bit. If you see here, this is where I cut a lot of elbows because I built custom intercoolers for people. So this is where I cut my elbows and my metal. So when anytime you get an intercooler from me and something has to be shortened down, this is kind of where I do it, which is why there's so much stuff all over this table. Basically, what I was doing was trimming the power steering bracket from the Corvette until it actually cleared the new supercharger bracket. Once it fit perfect, I was able to mount it. So I just had to keep trimming a tiny bit away. And then the other thing with the Corvette setup is once the tank's in place, there's this little supply hose that goes through the bracket. So that's another thing I have to mess around with, but this is what the tank looked like, and I actually think it came out pretty cool. Like I said, it was a mix of 2 different types of pieces, but it looked perfect for what I was trying to do. This engine has one of those top mount. It's like a muscle car air conditioning bracket. And what it does is put the compressor to the passenger side of the engine. I have no use for this. If I want to run air conditioning, I just put the Corvette bracket on the like basically below that, so I can still run the supercharger. This is the spot where the supercharger head unit's going to go. We're going to be putting a Paxton supercharger on there with an East Coast supercharging bracket. It's a really nice setup, and I can't wait to get it on the engine. I've actually been pretty excited for this for quite some time. But this needs to get off the engine. I need to remove this. I actually need to remove the wire harness. There's a lot of things I need to get off the engine, but again, I just wanted to test fit this stuff because this is the biggest headache with dropping the engine in is the biggest headache's actually, modifying the firewall, but this is the second biggest headache is the packaging for the engine. I want to make sure it has the tightest packaging possible because the supercharger system is going to take up some space as well. So once that's out of the way, we can start test fitting this bracket. The bracket's really nice. It's, this is a design that's been around for probably 20 years at this point. It fits pretty good, but you're going to see in the next scene basically some fitment issue with the water pump. But what I'm doing right now is you have to separate the bracket and you have to put on the first part of it, which is it basically this mounts to the cylinder head and the water pump, and then what you do is the front half of the bracket mounts to the supercharger head unit, and then you marry them together and the belt wraps through the center. So what I'm trying to do is test fit it because I want to make sure that the Corvette accessories line up with the crank damper, but basically the crank damper is going to be a larger project in itself because of the sheer torque it takes to mount the thing to the front of the engine.
All right, so I have to pause for a minute. I was hoping to use this water pump to test fit everything, but I have to convert over to the Corvette pump. It's physically not going to fit because it's made for a Camaro. Basically what's happening is the bracketry is designed to mount here, but because of this piece on the Camaro pump, it's not going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the Corvette pump in so this will actually clear and the mounting holes will mate correctly. The reason I put this underneath is I'm pretty sure there's going to be water coming out of here. I haven't had an engine that I haven't had that happen on. So as soon as I pull the water pump, there's going to be probably, I don't know, I'd say half a gallon's worth, maybe less. I don't know, maybe more.
This engine was originally in a running car, so that's why I thought antifreeze would be inside of it, even though it's been sitting in my shop. I haven't taken it apart yet until recently, so I put the container underneath it, assuming there would be about a half a gallon of antifreeze coming out, but ironically nothing came out.
Well, surprisingly, nothing came out. I was actually pretty sure there's going to be a ton coming out, even when I was doing this Mustang engine that was literally sitting for, geez, I think the Mustang engine was probably sitting for almost 10 years. It still had antifreeze out of it, so whatever. So I'm going to move on. We'll put the Corvette pump on. Nothing's going to be permanent. I'm just test fitting, so I want to make sure what I'm doing is the right pieces to the puzzle. This is going to be last because it's going to take a lot of torque to put the damper in, and we can do that whenever. I actually prefer to do that while it's in the car because it's trying to, I think it's like 275 foot-pounds or 175 foot-pounds or something like that on the crank damper. I'd rather have it actually in the chassis when I'm doing it, but we'll see. Maybe I'll get to it.
The two biggest reasons why I'm switching to the Corvette water pump is, for starters, it gives me about 2 to 3 extra inches of clearance in the front of the engine, so it pulls everything back towards the engine itself. And the other reason is the bracketry is meant to only go on a Corvette. This version, I believe, is a C6 style, so we have to put the bracket in place using this water pump or it's just not going to clear. Actually, a third reason why I like this water pump is I have it on my Corvette and the cooling efficiency is pretty good with it. So this specific supercharger head unit is not for a Corvette. Basically, because of the mounting ears are on the back of the head unit, they can't be there. So what's basically going to happen is I have to either change the case in the back, but these cases are mated specifically to be for this head unit. So for example, you can't just change half the case. The cases are machined specifically to be an inner outer and you can't mix and match. So I'm gonna probably have to end up cutting the 3 ears off the back of this. But what I'm doing is basically I'm just getting the bracket. It's in the wrong spot. The offset's not going to be right, but I just wanted to get the supercharger on the front of the engine just so I can kind of eyeball how things are lining up. Plus I wanted to see how it looks. I've been kind of dreaming about this for a couple of years, and I really wanted to see the supercharger mounted to the front of this Corvette engine, and I really wanted to see how it looks, and I think it looks pretty badass. And I'm getting more and more excited the more I put tools on this engine.
All right, so the bracket is not going to work because the back plate on the supercharger is not meant for this bracket, so I have to call Paxton and get a back plate. I have to basically change the plate. When you take the cover off, all the internal workings of the supercharger are exposed, so that's how you do like a rebuild. So I'm going to change the backing plate. I might even have a backing plate. I could just swap it from another one, but I think it's black. I just wanted to stop the video really quickly and explain what's going on. I talked to my buddy Vince over at Paxton, and basically the chrome supercharger has 3 tabs that are sticking out, and because the 3 tabs are sticking out, the bracket is not able to go onto the blower. It's pretty much got to look like this, but the 3 tabs on the chrome supercharger are in the way. What I may have to do, or what I'm probably going to do, is cut the tabs off on the chrome one, or Paxton's going to send me a case. Basically what's wrong is I can't just change the back cover. I thought I could, but he was explaining to me that these are mated cases, and if I change the back cover, I could have some alignment issues with what's inside the supercharger, so the whole case has to be changed. So what he's going to do is actually send me a new polished case, and I'm going to take the guts out of the other chrome one and put them inside the new case. And then all I'm doing right now is just eyeballing where the pulley is going to line up. All I really wanted to see is this water pump is lining up with the alternator, and I wanted to make sure when we get over to the supercharger that it's going to line up with that guy right there. So once the bracket's in place, it's going to put it right where I need it. And I tell you what, this looks badass, and I can't wait to get this back in the car. It looks like we're going to have plenty of space to fit the supercharger. All right, so what I'm going to do next is I want to mess around with 3D scanning the engine just for fun, but then I'm going to 3D scan the engine bay just because I want to have a scan of the car with nothing in it. I want to basically scan it as a Cruze because we make prototypes for these cars, and then once I have the scans, I won't need to have the car back together ever again because I'll have every measurement I've ever needed.
3D scanning is pretty cool. It's something that my kids want to learn as well, but obviously I can't teach them until I teach myself. So what I was doing is basically practicing on the engine. What I wanted to know was what's the easiest way to get scans. Is it better to have, you know, a reflective surface? Is it better to have a non-reflective surface? Should I be testing with the lights on? Should I be doing it with the lights off? And I was just basically trying to see like how different textures can be captured, and different like crevices and, you know, like reflective areas. And I just wanted to really get an idea of what a 3D scanner can actually capture. So as I'm doing this, I'm playing with all the settings. And you guys know from watching Dave's World that, you know, I'm always basically putting things, basically my struggles, all the wins and all the losses are always in my videos, basically. So right now what I'm doing is just practicing on all of these surfaces, and then once I realized how, you know, the settings to capture each surfaces can be adjusted within the scanner, I actually did a really good job capturing everything, which is really cool. I would say that the scan that I got off this engine was probably a good 85 to 90% scan. To get a better scan, I think I'm going to have to get some, they have like reference dots I could have put on the engine, or they also have this spray that I could put on there to, I think what it does is turn everything into like a matte surface, and that's what I should be using. But again, the more I learn, the more you guys will learn, because once I learn, I usually teach everybody in my videos.
All right, so I just took a 3D scan of the engine just as practice. What I'm going to do now is 3D scan the engine bay. I have to keep playing with the settings. I don't know if it's better to have a lot of light or not a lot of light, but I'll figure it out as I go along. I'm going to keep working until I have a chance. Basically, my son's graduating, so I don't have much time left, but I'm just going to keep going while I can, and when I have to go, I have to go.
So same thing here. What I'm doing is playing around with different settings so I can grab different textures when I do the 3D scanning. This is a really cool setup because it lets me do things on the fly, and then even if I'm finished like rendering or finished filming or whatever it's called, like scanning, I could start over and just grab another scan right away. This is a really nice setup. So I was just, again, practicing different settings. Then what I was doing was checking these different textures that are under the hood. This sound deadening material is pretty much going to be gone, but again, I just wanted to see how it picks up the textures. And then what I decided to do was try different lighting again. I tried maybe seeing what it was like when everything was bright, and then I tried throwing a flashlight kind of in front of everything that was being scanned. And again, I just wanted to see what the scan would do with the extra help. And then when I was finished, I was playing around with the settings because you can render it right on the scanner. And then once it's finished being rendered, you could actually play around with a 3D model on the scanner. The other thing I could do is export it, so I did export it. So eventually, towards the end of this video, I'll show you what the 3D scan looked like. And what I was doing was focusing on the brake booster location of the engine bay.
Okay, I realized two things while I was 3D scanning. I think I need the spray for the shiny stuff. I didn't get a great scan of the engine, though it did look really cool in the scans. And then while I was scanning this car, I realized that my son's graduating and I gotta get out of here soon. There's two other things I wanted to do on this car. One was I wanted to get it up in the air and scan underneath. The problem is I forgot I took this off the lift and it's now on dollies, so the car kind of rolls anywhere I want now. The other thing is, because it was gonna take so long and I have to get to my son's graduation, I decided to focus on the brake booster location because we have to move the braking system. Basically what's going on is right here, basically from here to here is where the engine's gonna be. Right here is where the brake booster is. The problem is it's too big to fit with the V8. So I gotta figure out a way to put a different braking system in. I'm probably gonna go with Hydro Boost. If it'll fit and fit with the engine, great. But I may have to move that, or I may have to do a remote master. Basically, a remote master cylinder is something that I can put anywhere and it feeds the master. Well, basically there might have to be a rod or something that goes to a master in a different spot, or it might do like floor mount, like a race car would have a floor mount setup and everything's underneath the car, which might be the perfect setup. I don't know yet. I prefer to mount something there like a Hydro Boost or something along those lines. But either way, that's why I focused on scanning right here. And if I could get the footage of the scan in the video, I'll try. I'm not really sure how to get it. I'm not really sure how to get it into the video.
Actually, I was able to figure out how to get it on my computer and show you guys how basically the rendering came out. It came out really nice. I tried playing around with some different colors so it will look good in the video for you. It's actually a pretty clear scan, so I got exactly what I needed. I just needed the mounting area and basically the structure and the spacing that I have, because if I want to put a different type of braking system in, I just wanted to know kind of what I was working with. Plus I wanted to do something cool with the 3D scanner. I just thought it was kind of cool to do that for everybody. But at the same time, I have my measurements. What I might try and do is 3D scan some braking systems, or some of the manufacturers actually have the measurements that I need. Either way, I thought this was kind of cool to throw in the video for everyone.
Comment below, let me know what you guys think of these weekly updates. I'm just trying to get everything together so everybody can watch it. Members if you're basically a member of the YouTube channel, you get to watch them right away. You get to watch them for a couple weeks before I make them go live. And then, and if you're a member of the channel, you know, all this V8 swap stuff I'm doing, you guys get priority. So if you're trying to do your swaps, I'll definitely help you out as well. And then what I'll do is these smaller videos that I'm putting out weekly, I'll take like maybe, I don't know if I should do once a month or once every couple months. I'll just do one long video that has everything in it for you. But that's going to be a while from now. At least I want to get these updates going for everyone.